Hey everyone. If you're running a business in Dhaka right now, I'm willing to bet there's one thing that's really eating at you: the insane cost of finding just one new customer.
Seriously, does your marketing budget feel less like an investment and more like a black hole? You're pouring money into ads just to get people through the door, but are they actually sticking around? This is the #1 pain point for so many businesses today.
And this gets you stuck in what we call the transaction treadmill. You know what I'm talking about? It's that exhausting, non-stop cycle. You pay to go to customer, you make one sale, and poof, they're gone. And then you have to pay all over again just to get them back. It's just not sustainable.
Now, look at this number. As of October 2025, there are over 131 million internet users in Bangladesh. I mean, that sounds incredible, right? A huge opportunity. But here's the catch. Their attention is scattered across a dozen different apps, and the social media algorithms, they are charging you a fortune for every single click.
So, that brings us right here. We've got to talk about the painful reality of one-off sales. It's time to really understand why this old, traditional model isn't just inefficient anymore. For a lot of businesses, it's turning into a full-blown crisis.
And this is the absolute heart of the problem. The whole system just falls apart the moment your customer acquisition costs, the CAC, the money you spend to get one person to buy, starts to eat up all the profit from that first purchase. When that happens, you're not really building a business, are you? You're just treading water. A new model isn't just a nice idea, it's essential for survival.
Okay, so if the old way is broken, what's the fix? Well, this is where the subscription economy comes in as a potential lifeline. And even more important, we're going to dig into why this exact moment right now is the tipping point for this entire model here in Bangladesh.
And just to give you a sense of how big this is, check out this number. The global subscription market is on track to be worth over $555 billion in 2025. This isn't some tiny niche trend. It's a massive global shift in how business is done, and Bangladesh is finally in a position to get a piece of that action.
So why now? What's so special about this moment? Well, it's basically a perfect storm of three huge factors. First, MFS is finally mature. For years, the biggest roadblock was that you couldn't do easy automatic recurring payments. bKash and Nagad have totally solved that. Second, we've got the rise of a convenience class in our cities, people who value their time way more than haggling. And finally, digital literacy, thanks to 4G and 5G everywhere, means these services actually work smoothly.
This chart does a brilliant job of showing where we fit into the whole region. So look at the payment drivers. India has UPI, Indonesia has their e-wallets, but our unique superpower? It's the total dominance of MFS. Now take a look at the churn rate, the rate at which people cancel. Yeah, ours is higher. That's a challenge we've got to face. But it also shows we are in a high-growth phase with massive potential in areas like streaming and education.
All right, so we've talked about the what and the why. Now it's time for the most important part, the how. This section is your step-by-step practical playbook for actually building a subscription model that works.
This is what the source material calls the Recurring Revenue Bridge Framework, or RRB. It's awesome because it breaks the whole process down into 4 clear, easy-to-follow steps. This is your roadmap from selling one-off products to building a real recurring revenue stream. So let's walk through each one. Step 1 is the foundation for everything. You have to find a utility habit. This is not about fancy luxury items or special treats. A killer subscription is built on a real, predictable, recurring need. Think about things people use all the time without even thinking about it. Milk, diapers, essential software. You find that need and you automate the solution. The biggest mistake is trying to build a subscription around something people just want instead of something they truly need.
Step 2 is the technical key that unlocks this whole thing. You have to solve the payment wall. This means frictionless, automated, set-it-and-forget-it payments through MFS. Look, if you are making your customer manually hit make payment in bKash every single month, that's not a subscription. That's a monthly chore that they are eventually going to forget or just get tired of. Automation here is completely non-negotiable.
Next up, let's talk pricing psychology. In a market that loves the sachet model, small, affordable packets, you have to price for the micro commitment. Instead of hitting people with a big, scary annual fee, you offer smaller, easier-to-swallow monthly or even weekly plans. Charky does this perfectly with their different pricing tiers, which makes it a super easy yes for someone trying it out for the first time.
And finally, step 4 is to build what's called the value ceiling. Your product alone, no matter how good it is probably not enough to keep people from canceling in the long run. You have to build a moat around your service with extra perks, things like free delivery, exclusive content, or VIP customer support. This is what stops a customer from jumping ship for a slightly cheaper competitor. It changes the whole relationship and makes them feel like a valued member, not just another transaction.
So does this whole framework actually work in the real world? Well, let's take a look at a couple of case studies. One global giant and one local hero that prove these principles are absolutely the key to success.
So we're going to put Netflix, the global giant that basically invented this category, side by side with Chorky, our homegrown hero that has completely cracked the code for the Bangladeshi market.
You see, the fascinating thing about Netflix is that they don't sell movies, they sell an entertainment utility. It's become a non-negotiable expense in so many households, right alongside the internet bill. They prove that if the value is high enough, even after price hikes and new taxes, the Bangladeshi consumer is willing to pay for it.
But Chorky is a masterclass in local adaptation. They focus on originality over just having a huge library, creating local hits that generate a massive fear of missing out, that FOMO effect. And this is critical. They use aggressive cashback partnerships with Bakash and Nagad that makes signing up an absolute no-brainer. It just goes to show you that local relevance is the ultimate competitive advantage.
Okay, we've gone through the theory, we've got the framework, and we've seen the proof. But before we get to your specific action plan, it is so important that we look at this whole opportunity with a critical eye.
So, is all this hype for real? Or are we maybe ignoring some of the risks? A smart strategy always looks at the potential downsides, and there is one big one you absolutely need to know about.
And that biggest risk is this thing called subscription fatigue. It's simple. As more and more services ask for a monthly fee, customers start to feel overwhelmed. And when inflation hits and budgets get tight, what are the first things to get cut? The subscriptions that don't feel absolutely essential. Only the true utilities will survive a budget cleanup.
So, with that risk in mind, here are your immediate next steps. For you business owners and brand managers, go audit your sales data right now. Find the customers who have already bought from you 3 or more times in the last 90 days. Those people, they're your perfect beta testers for a subscription. And for you marketers, it's time to completely change your mindset. Stop chasing vanity metrics like likes, start obsessing over cohort retention. That means tracking how many customers from January are still with you in June. That is the true measure of a healthy business.
So I want to leave you with this one final crucial question to think about for your own business. It really sums up this entire shift perfectly. Ask yourself this: is your budget being spent to simply rent a customer's attention for a single day? Or are you investing to actually own that relationship for a year, and hopefully for many more to come?